Friend, welcome back to Fig and Farm at Home. I am so glad you're here hanging out with me today on this Friday or whenever it is you're listening. Before we dive in to today's show, have you registered for the free workshop that is happening next Tuesday, September 17th and Wednesday, September 18th, where I'm teaching you the 3 steps to creating a home that you can't stop gushing about? You're going to learn the 3 things that are pivotal for creating a cozy, cohesive looking home. And oftentimes we want to skip to the good part. We want to skip to the let's shop and let's buy and let's get all the fun things. But we need to build our foundation first. So we're going to start there. On day 2 of the workshop, I have surprises up my sleeve and I cannot wait. I'm giving away a couple room edits. A room edit is a designer's eye on your space, and it's a chance for me to help you with the goals you have in mind for your home, elevate the look and the feel and the functionality of your space by giving you specific suggestions for how to make that happen. And so that is happening live on Wednesday, the second day of the workshop. So a couple of you who are attending are going to be able to walk away that afternoon with tips and advice and suggestions for changes you can make to up-level the look of your space that day. And I am so excited and here for helping you to see results in a big, big way. I hope that you are registered for that. And if you are not, I want you to. Even if you can't make it live at 9 a.m. Pacific time, I'll send you the replay. You can register by going to bit.ly/fall home workshop. All right, friend, today we are diving in. I think it's time. Pumpkin spice lattes have been on the menu for, a month. I think it's time. Are you ready for fall in your home decorating? If you're not, you're going to want to take a few notes and actually get a journal out because we're going to decorate a little differently today. We're going to decorate all from our heart. All right, friend, enjoy today's show. We grew up with the phrase, home is where the heart is, but our culture has shifted and now the message is, home should be Pinterest perfect. I'm calling BS on that message. Home, it's not about the stuff, it's about the story. And whether you know it or not, your home is a reflection of you and is already saying something. So what is it that you want it to say? Hey, I'm Danny, a former first grade teacher turned home decorator. Going from a dual income to a single income so I could stay home with my babies meant budget, like ramen eating, Goodwill shopping budget. And I learned a few things along the way, like how to bring big style to your home without breaking the bank. And I'm sharing it all with you. Tips, tricks, decor, and design advice so you can learn to tell your story with your style, where you can start living free from the Pinterest perfect trap and start living a life of intention. Welcome to Fig and Farm at Home, where we design happy living and where it doesn't have to be perfect to be beautiful. I say this every year, but fall is my very favorite season. I love the brisk mornings and the warm afternoons. I love the colors changing. I love the crunchy sound that the leaves make when you're taking a walk. I love the smell of all the school supplies and kind of the newness that is. Fall to me is so incredibly cozy. And there's a famous quote by Anne of Green Gables where she says, I'm so glad I live in a world where there are Octobers. And I couldn't resonate with that anymore. And although the strategy I'm going to teach you today can be used anytime you're decorating and should be applied anytime you're decorating, fall evokes this sense of feeling to me so much more than any other seasons, any other even holidays. And so I'm going to use it to illustrate what I mean when I say we're going to decorate with our heart a little bit. Now, before you say, oh, cheesy town, I really want you to think about mindfulness and intentionality in your decorating, right? That is the whole point of teaching you these tips and tricks and strategies, is to be mindful and intentional about the things that you are holding near and dear enough that you put out on display. And it goes back to, of course, the procurement of those items, but we're not going to go into that today. What I want you to think about, and this is what I teach all of my students, is when you are just starting out and you're trying to get an understanding of your design style, your aesthetic, it is equally as important to do that as it is to choose a feeling word for your home. Why is that? Because we're going to use your design aesthetic as well as your feeling word as filters for everything we make decisions on, for everything that you bring into your home, for everything we choose to put on display. For as we're decluttering and we are sorting through things and deciding what to keep and what to toss and what to throw away, we're using our filters in order to help us make those decisions. Those filters, your design style, and the feeling word you have are incredibly important. These are the gatekeepers for making sure that you spend money wisely, making sure that you don't live in excess, making sure that you have a cohesive looking home, making sure that you skip that dreaded buy and return or make a mistake when you're choosing items. These are the filters and the gatekeepers that allow you to do that. So we're going to spend a lot of time today talking about the feeling word, choosing a feeling word. Now, oftentimes, almost 100% of the time, when I talk to clients and I say, how do you want your home to feel? They will say one of these three: warm, inviting, and cozy. And those things are fantastic and wonderful. And if we stopped there, that could be enough. But what I often ask them to tell me, and this is what I want you to do. So if you don't have a journal out, a notebook out, get one. Because what I want you to think about is, how do you want your home to feel this fall? And we might even actually start with the fall word. But let's go back to that warm, inviting, and cozy word that my clients usually use. And I will often ask them, well, tell me what that means to you, because warm to me could mean something very different than you. So I want to know, in your words, what does that look like? What does that feel like? What does that sound like? I want to know it all. Just write it down. Tell me all of it. And when I'm speaking with them, I'm actually doing the writing. They are the ones doing the talking. And what I can generally pull out from them are a little bit more nuance of what it is that they are hoping to communicate. It's like when I used to teach first grade and I would say, okay, guys, we're going to write a letter to our mom, and we're going to start our sentence like, I like my mom because, just like a sentence started with this feeling thing, I want my home to feel like. And these first graders were so adorable and so charming, and wow, I wish I still had one, because the things that they said were so adorable and sweet, and I wish I could store them all up in my memory, but they are in my heart. And a lot of times they would say, because she's so nice, because she's so pretty, because she always smiles. And of course they would make me smile and giggle and chuckle, and I would say, oh, Johnny, that's so sweet, but tell me a little bit more. Why is your mom nice? And Johnny would get to talking. And sometimes, you guys, if you are not around a kiddo who is a first grader age, or if you're not privy to a classroom full of students who need and want your attention, you are kind of missing out, because they have a lot to say. They have so much to say. Side note, oftentimes during circle time, or when I'd ask their opinion, I'd have to say, okay, sweetie, I don't want your story right now. Just answer my question. But Johnny would tell me then what he loved about his mom, why his mom was so nice. And in that prompting, I would get things like, well, she always makes me chocolate chip cookies, or she tucks me in at night. She climbs into my bed and reads me a story, or she watches my soccer game, or she packs snack for my team, or she comes outside and plays football. Whatever that story was, that was what I wanted. Because Johnny was equating that action as her being nice. And I wanted the detail. And so I would help him with the words, and we would go on our merry way. And then Mom would get a really detailed card and would make her laugh and smile and probably cry. For my clients, it is very similar, though we're not going to do the crying part. What we're going to do is the understanding part. And that happens when we take a look beyond the generic word. Even though that generic word is very wonderful, it's a great starting point. I just want you to go deeper. If you want your home to look cozy, what does that mean? What does that mean? Because I know it's going to look and feel a lot different to you than it is to me. And I know if we invited your 5 best friends over and we were having coffee around the living room and we were chatting about home design, and I said, tell me what cozy means to you, Rebecca would say something different than Jennifer, and Jennifer would say something different than Jessica, and all the things. There would be something different about what cozy meant to them. And so for you, friend, that feeling word is just as important as understanding your aesthetic. And that aesthetic, that design style, combined with the feeling word are going to act as strong filters for every decision you make. And here's how it works. So we're going to do that when it comes to fall, because I know when it comes to fall, those feels for me are super strong. Springtime, sure, I can feel the feels, but it's really strong in fall for me. And summertime, I can feel the feels, so I can decorate with the feeling there, but it's so much different. And so we're going to illustrate this when it comes to decorating our home, using our heart, using the feeling word when it comes to fall. So what I want you to think about is and I want you to write down what fall feels like to you. What does it feel like? To me, there is a strong sense of remembrance. It reminds me so much of early childhood days, and I used to walk to school, and it wasn't a long walk, but we had huge oak trees, and the crunch, the sound that it made as I walked through. I remember the mornings being so brisk and needing to have a sweater or a sweatshirt, or even overdressing. Do you remember those times when you overdress and you come home and you're like, oh, I'm baking, I'm so hot? The smells to me are so dynamic in fall. After I moved from that childhood area, we moved to an area in Washington that is where a lot of you probably get your apples from. There are so many apple and pear orchards and cherry orchards, and it's really lovely, but it has a very strong scent in the fall. And I don't want to gross you out, but it can be kind of a nice scent when it's not overpowering. And that is the scent of when the apples and the pears fall to the ground. Yeah, and you know what's going to happen when they fall to the ground, they start rotting. But until it gets too pungenty, there's a really sweet scent of the apples and the pears that are ripe and ready to go. That's what fall smells like to me, is that ripe fruit scent. Now, side note, do I want rotting apples and pears on my counter? No, I absolutely do not. But if I'm walking in an orchard, you better bet I'm going to really enjoy the smells of the season before it gets too ripe, that is. Fall to me feels so cozy. It is that warm hug feeling of kind of unwrapping your sweaters at that you've put away for so long, and you've been kind of baking in the sun, and now it's time to get cozy. And the feeling of having the really soft sweater on and the layers of warmth feel a little decadent. I love it. I might be the only one. I don't know, but I love it when the sun doesn't stay out as late, especially in the fall where we are kind of coming down from a really vibrant, energetic, full, playful season. And it's time to start relaxing a little bit. It's time to start letting our body and our minds settle a little. And to me, that happens when there is a little less light in the day. And when we can come inside and when we can start turning on our table lamps to create that ambient lighting and not the overhead lighting. Remember, I love to evoke that feeling of cozy with ambient lighting. When we can use those lights as a way to fill our home with warmth, that feels fantastic. So I'm writing all of this down. I'm writing it all down. I'm processing what it feels like to me. And I want you to do the same. And then when it comes time to thinking about the things we have on display in our space, I want you to go back to this list of feeling words that you've created, the list of what fall feels like, and the list of what you want your home to feel like. And I want you to see if there's any overlap. So if I want my home to feel warm and cozy and inviting, I can see that when fall comes around, I like the warmth, I like the cozy, I like the ambient lighting, I like the snuggling in, and that happens with textures. And I want you to see if there's any connection points you can make between the feeling word of how you generally want your home to feel and what you feel like in fall. Now you can do the same thing in spring or winter or any other season or holiday even, that evokes strong emotion for you. And if it doesn't, I invite you to just be quiet and put your phone down and leave your dog at home, leave your kids at home, and when it's safe and go take a walk to see what it is you feel and smell and remember and all of the things, and then journal about it. Now, when it comes time to making decisions, so many times if we're wanting to have a refresh, we might go to our favorite stores. We might go to Target. We might go to Home Goods. We might go to Pottery Barn. We might go to, you name it, we might go there. And the things that are so cute and on display and could be really fun, what I want you to think about is, A, of course, does it match your aesthetic, your design style? And if you don't know that, this is something that is important to invest in. I'll link a couple episodes that you can go back and learn how to understand your design style. But then B, I want you to think about, does that item that you think is so cute and so charming and so whatever, does it match the feeling word and the goal you have in mind for creating your fall home? Or your home in general. It doesn't even have to be fall. Does it match that? And if it doesn't, that is your gatekeeper as well as your aesthetic to say, that does not come home with me. It's cute, but it doesn't come home with me. It doesn't evoke that feeling of warmth. It doesn't evoke that feeling of cozy and whatever cozy meant to you. It doesn't evoke that feeling of calm. Or opposite, like maybe it's playful and vibrant and fun and whatever those feeling words are for you. You're using that as a gatekeeper. And it can take a while. I mean, when you're making decision after decision after decision, or pulling out your fall box even, and you're so excited to now get that fall box out and decorate, and you pull things out and you look at it and you think, oh, this is cute and I've had it for 20 years. I want you to use those same filters here. A, does it match your aesthetic? And B, does it match the feeling that you have intended or want for your home? And if it doesn't, now is the time to say, I'm ready to bless and release this. I'm ready to let it go live somewhere else with someone else. Friend, I hope this was helpful for you today as we start decorating with the things that we not just like, but we love, and the things that make us feel the way that we want to feel in our home. And I hope that you're able to use that strategy, not just when you're buying new things, but when you're going through things that you have in your home, even when you're walking through your home, what's currently out. Because remember, everything that is out right now is decor. Everything. Even the bills you have sitting on your counter. When it's out, it is taking up space and it is acting like decor. So I want you to be mindful of all the things that you see, all the things that you bring into your home, all the things that you pull out and are taking up storage space. Be mindful and intentional. And when you do that, you're going to create a home that is made more to reflect you and the feeling you have for it. All right, friend, again, if you have not registered for the workshop happening next week, come and join us. And if you can't make it live, it's okay. It is absolutely all right. I will send you the replay. I'm happy to do that because I want you to learn the 3 steps, the 3 foundational things that you can do in order to create that home that you just are pleased as peaches of having, that you love coming home to, that you can't stop gushing about, that you are so excited to open up your door and invite your friends in to show, hey, look what I did. All right, friend, I hope to see you there. Until next week, I'll see you soon.